You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take of your family, your business can benefit from current events most of all. Thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or a plan to save you money, I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And boy, do we have celebrations today. It's amazing. I guess we should have booked Steve Sims for today instead of tomorrow, being that today is National Authors Day, and he is a best-selling author. If you have never heard of Steve Sims, look him up. He's going to be right here in our studio tomorrow morning, and he's put on some pretty amazing events and done some amazing things, as well as writing a couple of best-selling books. Steve Sims will be with us tomorrow. Let's take a look. What else are we celebrating? Oh, having beaten anorexia. And I don't know. I guess how we manage it, I don't know. My wife is a big-time fan of Mexican food. And she could eat Mexican food every single night. To me, I could eat Italian food every single night. If I didn't ever have a Mexican food, it wouldn't bother me. And she's just the opposite with Italian. But today, it's National Calzone Day. Now, I'm looking at the picture. If you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, any of our socials at ABC News and Talk, AM 1490 video feed, I see the calzone, but there's no glass of red wine to go with it. Oh, well, something. It's Calzone Day. It's not Wine Day. National Cinnamon Day. Now, I'm going to share with you a little known secret. Don't tell anybody, I know us and our 7 listeners, cinnamon. And I enjoy cinnamon. I used to use it a lot when I'd make oatmeal and things like that when I was younger. As an older individual, I went and bought the large bottle of cinnamon that you can get at Costco? It's a little oversized. What would anybody do as a household with a bottle that size of cinnamon? Well, we had a fig tree in our backyard. And you know what happens when you get lots of figs? And you get lots of squirrels and other varmints. Now, if you go right around the base of the tree and spread a circle of cinnamon around the base of the tree, kind of like you would do on chalking a baseball field or a football field, but use cinnamon going around there. For some reason, the varmints and the squirrels don't like it, and they leave the figs alone. I did that with the blood orange tree as well. Had to put some along the block wall because otherwise they'd go on the block wall and get it as well. But I just throw that out there for you. So in addition to all the other uses of cinnamon and cooking and whatnot, it's a natural way. And something, it doesn't bother the dog. Didn't bother the dog at all. Speaking of dog, it's National Cook for Your Pets Day today as well. But before we get to that, let's go to another one, deep fried clams. Now, I don't know. I do calamari, but that's not clams, I don't think. That's, I don't know. But calamari, deep fried clams, that looks good. Maybe I'm used to clams and the clam chowder, but that's a whole different story. Cook for Your Pets Day today. To me, that's like take 2 scoops, put it in the bowl, and put her vitamins on top of that. That's Cook for Your Pets Day. Today's also National Vinegar Day. Our friend Melissa Hammond comes in here and talks about vinegar. And it's one of the 3 items you need to keep your house clean, and you don't need anything else. Vinegar, hydrogen peroxide, and baking soda. Take vinegar and baking soda, stick it in your toilet. If you've got a clogged toilet or the drains aren't going down properly, vinegar and baking soda. Now, I don't know what's going to happen if you eat the 2 of them together, but I wouldn't recommend that. But putting them in the drain does some good wonders for that. I digress. I better get back to talking about home and finance. Let's take a look and see what's going on in the markets today. Dow Jones Industrial Average down 62 points. It's already been a rather volatile morning. We saw the markets were doing really well early on in the day and, in the pre-market. And then all of a sudden they weren't doing quite as well later on when we got to the point of dealing with some of the economic reports that came out this morning. I wonder why that would be. Well, we got job openings came out. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But we've got the Dow Jones down 60, the S&P down 7, the NASDAQ down 45. Oil is up $1.52 a barrel. Ow! Yeah, that one's not good. Let's take a look at gas prices. I know they're not going up. The president would told us that, so we don't have to even look at it, right? Oh, wait a second. They did go down a little bit overnight, and they're down from a month ago. But a year ago, they were $3.40 a gallon. Now they're $3.75.8. That is a national number. Josh, you and I do not get to pay that. California, $5.54 is what we're paying. Josh is over there in Nevada paying $4.90. Josh, you got below that $5 a gallon price now. $4.97 is the national average, or the state average for Nevada. Arizona's at $4.29. I should start adding in here because we don't even talk about it. Brittany's at $3.54. I don't know how Brittany gets in at $3.54, and obviously Lori, she's always at $3 in the low threes, $3.24 a gallon. Oh, to live in California, aren't we lucky to be out here with, and the governor wants to have another measure to see if we can raise gas prices. Oh, no, wait. He thinks that he's going to be able to influence the oil companies by putting a tax on if they make too much money. Well, you know what they're going to do then? Because they already did it in the 70s. Governor doesn't read history. He just is an ideologue. So when they did this same type of thing in the 70s, you know what happened is the gas companies cut back on production. You know what happens when they cut back on production? They didn't make as much money. But the gas prices went up because we didn't have gas available to buy. Maybe the governor will maybe do a little reading and understand history and understand these businesses do not pay taxes. They collect them. But hey, keep voting for the same thing and expect a different result. Our elections are coming up 7 days from now, if you have not already done the early balloting. 7 days from now, we've got the elections. You have a choice. You get to make that choice. You get to decide who's going to be our leadership going forward. If you like where we are with crime and gas prices and inflation and the open borders and drugs, vote for the same people. If you don't, and I don't care which party it is, I'm saying get rid of the incumbents. It doesn't matter to me whether it's which party they are. If they're not doing what you want, get somebody new. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, I did an analysis for an agent yesterday, and he showed me what a unsophisticated lender sent their client, suggesting a price reduction and a very small seller credit. And I said, what if we don't do the price reduction and give a larger seller credit? How will that affect the buyer? I'm going to tell you the results of that analysis when we come back. 3 trends that are good news for today's home buyers. 5 steps to buying a home after bankruptcy. Common student loan debts scams to look out for. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you could retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is, you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The S&P 500 now down 14 points. Well, let's look and see. The 10-year Treasury is down 4 basis points. Mortgage-backed securities are down 6 basis points, which means interest rates are down a bit. Why is that happening? Well, before we get to the why, let's talk about OBMMI. They provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. 30-year conforming loan, 7.059. There's the lock yesterday. Jumbo loan, 6.778. FHA loan, 6.854. The USDA loans, that's the rural areas with no down payment most of the time, 6.877 was the lock yesterday, and the best loan in the market for those that earned it, 6.735. That is the rate that it's locked at. You don't know any of the other data. That just takes an average of the rates. So it could be buying them down with points. It could be any number of items. Those are the numbers of the locking for yesterday. Now, let's take a look and see what's happening, why it is happening. Well, I told you a little bit in the opening segment that we were talking about the JOLTS report. Before we get to that, CoreLogic, they released their home price index report showing that home prices declined by 0.5% in September and are up 11.4% year over year, which is a decline from 13.5. Still 11.4 is a pretty good number. The year over year number is still significant, but will likely see some vacillation month to month. CoreLogic forecasts that home prices will remain flat in October and rise 3.9% in the year going forward, which is an increase from 3.2% in the previous report. Important. Although we're seeing some negative readings month to month, they are still forecast almost 4% appreciation nationwide over the next year, which is in line with what we've been telling you. Remember, 4% appreciation can still be meaningful for wealth creation. If someone bought a $400,000 home, put 10% down, that means they would gain $16,000 in appreciation over the next year and a 40% return on their investment due to leverage. The job openings and labor turnover report was released. That's called the JOLTS report, released for September, showing that there were 10.7 million job openings in the month, which is an increase from 10.3 million in August. While this is a big number, it's unclear how many of these jobs are being double counted. With many companies allowing work from home, the same job can be listed in multiple states at once, and it can overstate how many job openings are available. Anecdotally, we know many companies have expressed their need to pause hiring or begin layoffs. So we're watching that. We got a lot of data coming out the rest of this week. We're going to be watching it all for you. Tomorrow, we get the ADP jobs report. So we're going to take a look at that one and let you know where it's coming there. Then we're going to have the Federal Reserve is going to increase interest rates, it's our belief, tomorrow by 75 basis points. So we'll be watching that one for you. And then we got the big BLS jobs report coming out on Friday. So a lot of data to watch out for. Just throwing that out there. That is the Mortgage Minute brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. So I wanted to share this with you, real-time stories with Ron Siegel. So here they are. This was one that we just did an analysis yesterday. And one of the clients and one of the agents that we work with, he's a listing agent and sent over a scenario for us to analyze. And we do that a lot for the listing agents because they want to see, maybe there's a better way to bridge the gap between what the buyers want to pay and what the sellers are willing to sell for. So we do that on a regular basis to take a look and say, hey, could there be a better way? Could it be that we can bridge this gap? What's important to the seller? Well, that's pretty simple. What's important to the seller, especially right now, is what is the total price they're going to get for the property? That's a big number. So that would be the $800, $900 million number. That's the important thing to the seller. What's the important part to the buyer? There's two numbers that the buyers really need to focus on. Number one is the amount of money they have to come out of pocket with. How much is it going to cost them to close the transaction? That's going to be the down payment and any points, buy down fees, loan costs, title, escrow, all of that, whatever, or taxes, the whole 9 yards. That's what's important to the buyer, is the amount of money they have to come out of pocket with, number one. And number two, The payment. Can they afford it? Can they qualify for that? Now, no one wants to overpay, but the focus here is, can I afford the property? If the property is something that you're set on, that you really like the property and it meets your desires, well, the next step is, can you afford it? Are you eligible to buy it? Well, if that's the case, let's take a look and understand that so many people they've never been exposed to multiple methods of financing. So what they go with what they know. What do they know? Well, if I've got a $900,000 property and I offer $850 or maybe $860 or maybe $865, well, my payment should be lower. Well, it might be true if all things are being equal. Now, what if you offer a higher price? We've talked about this so many times on Ron Siegel Radio, and I love to give you examples of these things when they're really happening out there, because I deal with it on a daily basis. I don't have a chance to share with you on a daily basis all of these different scenarios. So here's a property listed for $899,000. You get an offer, comes in for $863,000, and they want the seller to help with some interest rate buy down. Well, if they understood the process, they'd probably say, let's not offer a reduced purchase price. Let's look and see what we can do about more money going to the seller or to the buying down the rate, because that's what's gonna help. Not only does it help from a purchasing standpoint, from an affordability standpoint, from a qualification standpoint, eligibility, it also helps long term. And that's the issue that a lot of folks don't recognize. Not only is it better for the buyer short term, it's better for the buyer long term. So in this scenario, I looked at it and said, okay, what if we go back up to the full price, $899, reduce the interest rate by 1.25%, and use some of that money. Now, we went from 863 less 14 is 849. And I'm saying, let's go back to 899. And instead of using $50,000 from the seller, let's only use 43. Will that entice the seller to take action? I don't know. I'm a numbers guy. I'm a radio host. I'm a lender that helped the first family I helped do a loan is in 1983. So got a little bit of experience. I've seen these kind of markets before. Let's go back. So we're looking at $899, and now we're going to use $43,000 to help with the interest rate. Again, hypothetically, bring the interest rate down 1.25%, 6 1/8, 6.796 APR. Well, what does that do? That brings down the payment by $360.98 every single month. And it cost an extra about $9,000, $10,000 out of the pocket of the buyer to make this happen. Now, there are ways that we could bring that down as well, but we increased the cash out of the buyer's pocket by about $10,000. So what does that do over time, though? Now, we know that we keep our properties. Right now, it used to be 5 or 6 years. Lately, it's been 13 years is how long we're keep staying in a property. So what I do is I look and say, okay, what is the interest expense over 13 years? Well, we're going to save, with the second scenario that I laid out, $92,000. So we paid an extra $50,000 and we saved $92,000. Now, if I were to gone in, I could have gone in and said, okay, what happens if we take that same $360 and either apply it to the mortgage, bring down that principal amount, or put it in a safe, secure investment like we talked to Todd Halterman about yesterday. And then you look at what that tells you about the time value of money. Time value of money. Now, this particular individual also just so happened to be a veteran, and we appreciate all of our veterans. So we looked at it and said, okay, what happens if we use that VA eligibility and they were going to put 20% down. I said, okay, let's go to 15% down and use the other 5% to try and help with the pricing. And we're also going to get, because on that one, the VA allows for a 37.5 was the amount that they could do on the VA loan for the amount of seller assistance. So we're using some seller assistance. We're using some of the buyer's money, but take a look at what happened. We ended up going from $175,000 in cash to close to $158,000. Wow. So that's $17,000 less. If my math is correct, I'm doing it on air, so I'm just doing it in my head. That's $17,000 less. The payment is $359.35 less. That's all after building in the funding fee and all the other costs. And now we're looking at that one. Now that one was going at 5.25%, 30-year fixed. Now, when I'm talking about the interest rate, I better make sure the compliance people are happy. 6.331 is the APR. So when I talk about these things, what I'm actually looking at is I'm saying, okay, what is it doing long term? Okay, this one here is $506,000 in interest over that same 13-year period versus the original method was $607, $101,000 better off, less interest paid over that time period. $101,000 in less interest. So take a look at these scenarios. Now, I don't have this one. I didn't put this on for anybody. But if you want to take a look at some that we've already shared and we've put online, rsrpaymentassist.com, rsrpaymentassist.com. I think we've got RSR Payment Assist, the numeral 1.com, RSR Payment Assist, numeral 1.com. These are all scenarios that are older. So, and don't go by the interest rates because I'm talking to you hypothetically. I'm also saying to you that if you don't do these things the right way, if you don't have a lender that understands them, you will trigger high cost and predatory lending violations. You will trigger those. So it's got to be done the right way. Bring our team in early so we can make sure the contracts are written the right way to make sure you don't have a violation. Because the violations don't come up until the 11th hour when it's too late. You've already released your loan contingency and your earnest money contingency and all your other contingencies. So you could be out money. We understand how to do these things so we can protect you. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, 3 trends that are good news for today's home buyers, common student loan debt scams to look out for, and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com. rsrhomescout.com. Yeah, they've got the great tool. If you want to know the current value of your property, it's looking backwards, not forwards. You have to talk to a real estate professional to get the forward value. But you go to the 4th tab on rsrhomescout.com, put in your address. It'll give you 3 or 4 different solutions for what the value is of your property. Now, if you go to the 1st tab, you can actually go shopping. So that'll give you about 97% of America, the properties that are available for sale. 97% of America. Now, again, your local real estate professionals have great information, but they're dealing with their local multiple listing service. So that's maybe they have another 1 or 2 services that they subscribe to, but generally they're not going to have that big an issue, that big a range. They're not going to have 97%. So you can go there and get it for free. 3 trends that are good news for today's home buyers. While higher mortgage rates are creating affordability challenges for home buyers this year, there is some good news for those people still looking to buy a home. As the market has cooled this year, some of the intensity buyers faced during the peak frenzy of the pandemic has cooled too. Here are just a few trends that may benefit you when you go to buy a home today. Number 1, there are more homes to choose from. During the pandemic, housing supply hit a record low. At the same time, buyer demand skyrocketed. This combination made it difficult to find a home because there just weren't enough to meet buyer demand. According to Calculated Risk, the supply of homes for sale increased by 39.5% for the week ending October 28th compared to the same week last year. Even though it's still a seller's market and supply is still lower than normal levels, you have more to choose from in your home search. That makes finding your dream home a bit less difficult. Number 2, bidding wars have eased. One of the top stories in real estate over the past 2 years was the intensity and frequency of bidding wars. But today, things are different. With more options, you'll likely see less competition from other buyers looking for homes. According to the National Association of Realtors, NAR, the average number of offers on recently sold homes has declined. This September, the average was 2.5 offers per sale. In contrast, last September, the average was 3.7 per sale. If you tried to buy a house over the past 2 years, you probably experienced the bidding war frenzy firsthand and may have been outbid on several homes along the way. Now you have a chance to jump back into the market and enjoy searching for a home with less competition. Number 3, more negotiation power. When you have less competition, you also have more negotiating power as a buyer. Over the last 2 years, more buyers were willing to skip important steps in the home buying process, like the appraisal or inspection, to try to win a bidding war. But the latest data from the National Association of Realtors, NAR, shows the percentage of buyers waiving those contingencies is going down. As a buyer, this is good news. The appraisal and the inspection give you important information about the value and condition of the home you're buying. And if something turns up in the inspection, you have more power today and renegotiate with the seller. A survey from Realtor.com confirms more sellers are accepting offers that include contingencies today. According to that report, 95% of sellers said buyers requested a home inspection, and 67% negotiated with buyers on repairs as a result of the inspection findings. Bottom line, while buyers still face challenges today, they're not necessarily the same ones you may have been up against just a year or so ago. If you're outbid or had trouble finding a home in the past, now may be the moment you've been waiting for. Let's chat. If you have any friends, family, or coworkers looking to buy, sell, or borrow on real estate, can we ask you for that introduction? And if you're going to just sit and wait, well, one of the things you may be waiting for, I'm just going to throw this out there, is one of the things you may be waiting for is things to go back the way they were with the multiple bidding and the getting your offers turned down. If we get back to where interest rates start dropping and property values start escalating, or if they come back just a little bit, or they're not going up quite as much, the bottom line is that you're going to go back to where you were a year ago, not being able to buy a house. You're going to get back in there where you've got a million offers on every property. You've got a line out the door to see them. Is that what you're looking for? Are you wanting, it just amazes me because I get people that tell us, something, I'm just going to stop looking. I'm just way too frustrated. And then when the opportunity comes that there's not as many offers, I'm going to wait for prices to drop and interest rates to drop. Why? So we get back to where you were frustrated. Does that make any sense? Am I missing something here? Just throw that out there for you. I don't know if I'm missing something, but the bottom line is if you wait, you may be. Now, here's the other issue. If you're wondering, am I paying too much for the property? Well, just send us some information on the property that you're considering. We actually have something we came out with it about 2 years ago, just because there were so many people that were concerned. Am I bidding too much for this property? Well, we have something called a bid over ask tool. You give us the address. We can go on the county recorder, see when the property was when the last sale was on that property, and what the purchase price was, or the transaction price was at the time of the last sale. We put that into our tool. We put in there what you're contemplating your offer to be. And it says, okay, if you bid that much, it may be that 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, whatever, that's how long it's going to take until the property value gets that. What are we looking at? We're looking at all kinds of valuation models of saying what the expected return is or the appreciation is for that specific area. And what has the historic appreciation been for that exact property? Because we put the last transaction date and amount into the tool. And it comes back with a number. This is what you're looking at. If you bid on the one I was talking about earlier, if that's a $900,000 property, you bid $925,000 and you look and you say, okay, and I have no idea what the numbers are because I did not look. And you say, okay, well, this seller bought this property in 2005 and they paid, I don't know, I'm going to pull a number out of my hat that they paid $400,000. It looks and says, okay, here's what the appreciation has been over those 17 years. And what are we anticipating for the future? And the algorithm comes out and says, okay, this is the numbers. Just pretty simple. It's all math. Now, it does not take into account what you need from the realtors. The realtors are going to tell you Is it on the right side of the golf course or the wrong side of the golf course? Is there a premium for upkeep? Does it need a lot of work? Those are issues that are going to have to be massaged by the realtors because they know that stuff. If they're doing their job, they're out there looking at the competition. What did the house down the street sell for? And what were the upgrades or downgrades or comparison to the property that you have? They know that stuff. They're shopping for that stuff. They get that stuff. So I'm a big believer that you need professional guidance. If you think that you can compete with what a realtor is doing without their assistance or just going to a cut rate guy or one of the guys out there that simply sells on the market's going to be the market. Well, that's kind of true. The market is going to be the market. What the value of any property is exactly what a willing seller will pay a willing buyer. But think about this. When you see a property that goes to foreclosure and it goes to the courthouse steps, and only one person shows up to bid, do you think they're going to get the highest possible price, or do you think that person that's bidding is now going to just take their offer and cut it by some percentage number? They're going to cut it, of course. Now, if there's 25 people there bidding, the property value is going to go up just because you've got competition. So just by throwing the property up on the MLS and saying, oh, the market's going to take care of it. Well, you don't need to pay the cut rate broker for that. You can go on the MLS and pay $49, I think it is, and get your property put on the MLS. Doesn't mean anybody's going to ever see it there because you have to know what you're doing. I swear I've looked at pictures. Take a look if you ever want. And you probably don't want to because you're not in this industry. How many times have you seen pictures of the kitchen, which is one of the most important rooms of the house? Dirty dishes in the sink. How many times have you seen pictures of the master bedroom? Dirty clothes, the bed's not made. Or the agent took a picture of the corner. That's always exciting. I want to know what the corner of the bedroom looks like, right? Or the laundry room has dirty clothes on top of the washing machine. There's value in staging. There's value in the realtor saying, take your family pictures down because we want the buyer to focus on the property. We don't want them to focus on your family. We know you had a great trip to Hawaii last year or to Mexico, or that you look great in a bikini. Not you, Josh, somebody else maybe. But the bottom line is that's not what we're focused on. We want to make sure that they're focused on how they're going to feel in the property. That's why we say take out a lot of the stuff out of the closet. Makes the closet seem bigger. Declutter. Those are things the realtors will tell you when you have that professional consultation with a professional realtor who's not trying to just do the cut rate job. And by the way, the cut rate guys, what are they compensated for? Getting the property sold as quickly as possible. If you're selling your property at a flat rate, cut rate, are they trying to maximize the value for you? Or are they just trying to get it sold because that's the way they go to the next one? Think about all these things. These are all issues that you should be thinking of. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, common student loan debt scams to look out for. We'll talk about it. If we get time, we'll go to buying a home after bankruptcy. 5 steps for that one as well. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you tired of paying rent? Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Do you know qualified folks can potentially purchase a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket? Ron Siegel can help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. If you're tired of paying someone else's mortgage, reach out to Ron today at RonIsMyLender.com. That's RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report and it is wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer, they've got these solutions for you. Let's take a look and see. You've got common student loan debt scams to look out for. You got to love the scammers. No, we don't. Ever since President Biden announced his student forgiveness plan in August, which would erase $10,000 of debt for low and middle income borrowers, student debt scams overall have been on the rise. According to the Better Business Bureau's Scam Tracker, there was an increase in reports of student debt scams shortly after the announcement. Furthermore, according to the Federal Trade Commission, in 2020, there was a grand total of nearly 25,000 fraud reports on federal student loans, an 88% uptick from the prior year. Digging a bit deeper, some types of older scams are decreasing in frequency thanks to better enforcement, points out Mark Krantrowitz, a student loan expert and author of How to Appeal for More College Financial Aid. On the flip side, there's been a spike in scams around, you guessed it, loan forgiveness programs. Here are some common student loan scams, what to watch out for, and how to avoid falling victim to them. Federal Student Loan Forgiveness Program imposters. This scam is the newest and most likely the most prevalent one. Thieves are pretending to be from the new federal debt cancellation program. They'll probably try to get a hold of you by way of an unsolicited phone call or via snail mail. To get a hold of your banking and personal info, these imposters ask you to fill out a simple form to see if you might qualify for the loan forgiveness program. They might ask you to cover an upfront fee, or they might say they can help you redirect your current student loan payments to them. Help to find money for school. This is one that unfortunately we hear people fall for a long time ago and even today. These scammers operate under the guise of financial aid advice services and claim they can help you find quote-unquote free money for school by the way of scholarships and grants. They might reach out to you via email, phone call, or mail and invite you to a free seminar, replete with free lunch. While there are legitimate companies that charge to help you hunt down scholarships, the fraudulent ones take your money. We're talking well in the range of $1,000 and don't deliver on their promises. These companies might target those who are the first in the family to go to college. These imposters usually make you a, quote, too good to be true, unquote, offer. For instance, they provide a 100% guarantee that you'll get some form of aid. Whenever you hear 100% guarantee, your red flag should be jumping up. All you need to do is provide your credit card or banking info. Help with the FAFSA form. There are several sketchy companies that say they can help you fill out the FAFSA form. All you need to do is pay a fee. These companies are in no way affiliated by the U.S. Department of Education, and they'll ask you for your credit card information. The thing is that you can probably get help with the FAFSA for free through a school counselor or college's financial aid office. You can also find info on the FAFSA website. Now, we get these reports all the time, but I'm going to share with you our friend Chris Bissonette. He's been in and on the show many, many times. I've watched what he's done for families and helped them. And when you think, yes, you can do the FAFSA form yourself, you can also do your taxes yourself. You're generally not going to get the best outcome when you do it that way. Talk to our friend Chris and see what get the help. Student debt relief companies, another student debt scam, are student loan debt relief companies that ask you to pay a fee in return for student loan debt relief. However, you can get the same type of help from federal loan servicers and providers. Advance fee loan scam. While there has been a decrease in what's known as a quote-unquote game of loans, an advance fee loan scam that requires upfront payment for credit repair services. This scam is now being used for student loans. This scam might charge you for a loan forgiveness programs, switching repayment plans, consolidating or refinancing loans, changing payment amounts, or applying for different or forbearance. The telltale sign of student loan debt scams is the tone of urgency. A common sign of scams is that the imposters create a tone of urgency by trying to get you to feel concerned, worried, or scared. They want you to act quickly and send money promptly. Asking for money up front. If you have to pay money to get money, it's probably a scam. Never give out a credit card or bank account number unless you know the organization you're giving it to is legitimate. If someone asks you for your FSA ID, with your FSA ID, someone can log in to government websites posing as you. They can take out loans in your name, or they can change the address to which student loan bills are sent. Your FSA ID is an electronic signature and should not be given to anyone. Guarantees. A company that could claim to it fulfilled its promise if you were offered student loans or a $20 scholarship is that worth a fee of $1,000 or more? Remember, a lot of services these scammers are peddling are things you can do for free on studentaid.gov, the government student loan website. There you can consolidate loans, switch repayment plans, apply for a deferment or forbearance. You can get free help about federal student aid from the Federal Student Aid Information Center, FSAIC. Government contractor, calling 800 for Fed Aid. 800 for Fed Aid. While student loan debt scams abound, being aware and looking out for telltale signs can help you from becoming a victim. Now, if you think you may already be a victim of identity theft, you can go and get a copy of your free credit report. You get those once a year. Some at certain times they're doing them more often. Annualcreditreport.com. If you want a free credit report audit. Now, I've told you before, the statistics that are shared is that 79% of all credit reports have errors on them. I'm going to tell you, I believe it's higher than that. It's more than 79%. But let's go with their numbers. That means 1 out of every 5 is accurate. Do you think you're that one? I doubt it, because I haven't even seen 1 out of 5 that are accurate. So you can go to creditsanitizer.com, creditsanitizer.com. You get the free credit report audit. You do need to go and get a very, very specific $1 credit report. Very specific $1 credit report. So just throwing that out there for you. You know, I'm going to give you away some stuff here because I know that we're running short on time. In fact, Josh is already telling me, wrap it up. But you know something, I still like to give away stuff. So if you haven't gone and looked at how to pay your credit card bill the right way, rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com. I already told you about scenarios on getting that payment assistance, rsrpaymentassist.com, rsrpaymentassist.com. So we gave you that one. I'm going to give you the home buyers guide, rsrhbg.com, rsrhbg.com. Get a free copy of your home buyers guide. And then make sure that you call us with your scenarios. Get our team involved early with you in the home buying process to show you how we talked about earlier, if you missed it, go to ronsiegelradio.com and look in the archives, and you'll be able to see the earlier part of the broadcast today, where I showed you how you could save $90,000 or $100,000 by increasing the purchase price of that property. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.